So today we're going to install the Guardian floor model. The floor model is a LST radiator with front-facing inlet grille and top-facing outlet grille. You'll see the casing shortly once we get round to fitting that side of things. Firstly, we're going to start by mounting the brackets and the heating set onto the wall. So a couple of things to point out of the brackets. This is the bracket. Can you see me on? This is the bracket. There's a left hand and a right hand version of the bracket. You'll notice on the bottom of the bracket there is a rubber spacer that is fitted. This sits on at floor level to just lift the bracket slightly from the ground so that the casing fits correctly. And then on the front of the bracket there is the locking mechanism, which when the unit arrives on or is delivered, it is important that this screw is unwound and the lock is lifted so that the case can be correctly fitted. A couple of other features for the bracket. There's a cutout to allow pipework to run through. You've got hooks for the element to sit on, and then the top section of the bracket will break out if required for twin elements such as top. Okay, so the first part of the process is to establish where we're going to fit the radiator. So we know in this instance we're going to fit the radiator to this wall. We've already checked the wall for structure to make sure it's suitable for the radiator to be hung on. So we're just going to use a couple of pieces of masking tape to mark where the centres of our brackets are going to be, just to avoid damage to the wall surface. This part of the process would be something that wouldn't be necessary during the construction phase, as generally the walls aren't painted and finished, so pencil lines on the walls don't really matter. But because this is a finished wall surface, we're going to protect it from any marks that we might make. So we know that the casing, the brackets, as per the fit instructions, it instructs us that the centre line for the fixing holes are 15 centimetres or 150 millimetres in from the edge of the casing. So we can say if that there is the edge of our casing, then our bracket centres are and then again from the other side, so we know that the unit itself is 600 long, so again 600 back 15 centimetres to there. So we now take our levels and run them as upright as we can down the wall. Okay, so that gives us our position for the brackets. So what we do then is place the bracket loosely along that line, picking up the fixing holes here, and then just mark them 1 and 2. Same on the other side with the other bracket. Again, making sure that the spacer is sat on the floor. 1, 2. Okay, we now drill the holes. In this case, we're going to drill a 10mm hole for the standard nylon fixings that are supplied. because this is a solid wall. If it was a plasterboard wall, we'd look at using different hollow wall fixers, for instance, that are readily available from any hardware supplier. Okay, once the holes are drilled, we'll fit the raw plugs and remove the tape. Okay, so we've got some raw plugs fitted now, ready to mount the brackets. So what we do first is put the screws in part way. And we only put them in part way to start with, because then we can hang the brackets from them, and we supply horseshoe washers, which I'll show you shortly, that protect or gives you the fixings then onto the brackets themselves. There you go. As I said, some horseshoe washers, we just drop over the screws that we can then tighten up the brackets, and just as a quality control measure, you would just, as we're tightening them, we'll just make sure that the brackets are upright. Again, just check the locks after you've fitted the bracket to make sure that they haven't moved during the installation process. Right, so now it comes to fitting the element. This is the heat exchanger. As you can see, this one is marked up 600 long, type 10 for this product. On this particular one, I've already removed the ends of the shrink wrap, so that I can fit them onto the brackets. The brackets, quite simply, or the element rather, quite simply slides onto the brackets, onto the hooks. And down and locates. That's fitted on there now. At this point now, you fit your valves and do all your pipe work. I'd be inclined to leave that protective film on there while all the work's going on, before final fix when you take it off and fit the case in.